I grew up in a Kurdish mystical community. It was a kind of rare spiritual group that was madly in love with the infinite and whose habit was to perform trance-inducing rituals by the use of highly repetitive music. So as a kid, I would often watch people, members of my family, reaching a level of ecstasy that you rarely see in a club or in a techno party. And they would get into these states only by the power of sound and faith and a sense of being one, together connected to the universe. So very early on I understood the power of music, its ability to bring us to another world. So when I play, this is what I have in mind, a mixture of unrelated memories from my childhood that goes between these mystical gatherings and the virtual worlds of science fiction and video games. It's very intuitive, like expressionism. I never start with anything in mind. I just start. I really have this kind of weird relationship with my equipment. I kind of see them as friends or collaborators, and I leave a lot of creativity happening from them. I pick mostly tools that has ability to generate some kind of random chaos that I can control or accept instability and predictability. What inspires me is life, complexity of nature, my children, and the universe. I'm taking inputs from a very complex world and trying to make my own. It's something I started I think 15 years ago. It happened that I was on a flight and I just had the flight attendant offering me a drink, and I asked for a slice of lemon, and then I found a seed that was perfectly intact, and I thought that this little seed was probably the most unlucky being that could arrive on Earth, like how unlikely it is to be a potential source of life disconnected from everything, and the chance that this seed has to develop into a proper life was so unlikely that I had kind of an emotional moment with it, and I decided I will come back with it in Paris and plant it. And I started to grow Air France lemon trees. I did one, it worked, and finally I found a way to plant them in an actual garden. So I'm trying to grow a forest of Air France lemon trees. I find it kind of beautiful. I think over the years I had a kind of obsession for polyphonic synthesizer, which you can tell here. Some icons of different eras. So it's like here the Decca's Dream, kind of reproduction of a CS80 from the 70s, and here the GX8P, the super powerful 80s sounding machine. And 90s you get this little Waldorf microwave wavetable synthesizer that sounds like super PlayStation, kind of very digital, very cold and kind of slick. And for the more recent times, I use a lot Prophet 6 desktop version. It's like an infinite source of inspiration. Every time I'm lost, I can always turn it on and find something interesting. And this one is more like weird. It's like a kind of rare synthesizer made by Knas, the guys that make like the moisturizer reverb with the spring, and so they made this little synthesizer which is also polyphonic and is something that is a bit in between like Chemical Brothers and more like harsh noise sound device. Like, so it's like the guy who made it doesn't know if he wants to do trance or punk hardcore noise with it, so it sounds a bit like that. And I kind of made all my hits with it, like Mega Trance 1 and 2 and more. Like, it's like super specific sound and I really love. Over here, my beloved drum machine, the X-Bass 888 Jomox, very generous kick drums and whatever you can imagine. It's all rooted to this mixer, so like all the synths are kind of easy access via this patch over there. So it's like all the drums are on the first rows and then all the synths are patched this way, so I can just like use like cable and just like send it wherever I want. And as this mixer is also an audio interface, but it's kind of old, like from 20 years ago or something, 15. So it's like I use a very old computer to basically track per channel on a different Ableton session. So I kind of get all the separate channels whenever I jam and get there here, and then I can like do post-production either on this computer if it's not too complicated, or I use the modern one that has more power if I want to process a bit more. Some effects like a reverb, tape delay, like a space echo, but the new generation made in Australia by Ecofix. Yeah, I'm always in movement, always unplugging, replugging stuff, and it's not like a very fixed setup. Like, some things are moving all the time. Yeah, I use those Adams monitors that are almost too big for that room, but I got it from another place and I just like like them very much. So I just don't play them too loud. It's like always precise and generous. I also have it's an attempt of 500 series, but I'm not pursuing it at the moment because it's a bit like money consuming, but it's an interesting hobby of mine. Voila. Communist tool. One of the two. Yeah, I'm bringing some sunlight back to this guy. Hey, little guy. All right.